This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to CWK Live every Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I am your host, Dan Z, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight as we're going to look at a lot of cool things in the world of Star Wars, including, that is my cue to get to where I want to show you what's going to happen tonight, and there you have it. Tonight we've got your top 5 moments from Star Wars Vision's Tatooine Rhapsody, and we're going to look very closely at the all-new Bring Home the Bounty campaign, and of course, your comments and questions. Again, I am your host, Dan Z. It's going to be a fun night tonight. We've got a lot of cool things. Mason is here. Hello, Mason. Good to have you, buddy, of course. Daniel is back. He says, good evening. Been on a hiatus for a while, Daniel. We're so glad to have you back. Of course, we saved you a spot right at the Coffee with Kenobi table. Nicholas, may the force be with you as well. Now that I've seen your YouTube icon when we went live on YouTube a couple weeks ago, every time I see Yoshi, I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that guy is. Jason, hello there indeed. Merry happy Monday to you. And of course, Minta, this is the way. It's CWK Day. She always gets it first. Always. Every single time. Awesome. All right, well, let's take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. Okay, what's brewing in the world of Star Wars this week is, well, oh, look who's here. It's Blake Weaver. Hello, Blake. Good to have you, buddy. I was negligent this week in doing the normal advertising that I usually do, so I apologize, which is why there's a slower start. But I have a feeling it's going to pick up very, very soon. As I said, this is a fun week because we're going to be looking at, let me get over here to this. We're going to be looking at this. Bring Home the Bounty. Discover the new bounty every week. You will recall that during The Mandalorian, we had Mando Mondays, and every Monday we get a huge drop of a lot of different kinds of merchandise for all kinds of things related to The Mandalorian. I mean, we got so much stuff. We got action figures, Funko Pops, t-shirts, jewelry, bicycles. I mean, anything you can imagine, athletic equipment, they had it for Mando Monday. Now we switched over to Bring Home the Bounty. Discover the new bounty every week, and it looks like it's going to be Tuesdays now, so it won't be the Monday drop like we're used to with Mando Mondays, but we're going to have this for every Tuesday. So that means typically when they announce things on Tuesdays, that means Wednesdays are the pre-orders. Yes. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at all these cool things that are out there because there are a lot of them. Let me get rid of that. And we are into a lot of good stuff. All right. Well, that's not it. Well, there's a background in case you ever wonder what a mountain looks like. All right. So here's something cool. This only happened for a week, so there's just a couple days left. Sorry, Blake, not trying to promote the other companies out there, but UPS is going to have several trucks in the Los Angeles and New York area that will have this overlay that's supposed to look like a sand crawler, and it is Bring Home the Bounty. You can see Grogu and Din Djarin himself, accompanied by the UPS logo too. So I've not seen any of these because I do not live in either of those areas, but boy, are they sweet. If you find one, let us know. Put it in the CWK Cafe, our Facebook group. That would be cool to see them. Really, really cool stuff. All right, so let's get to the cool stuff. The highlight for me, of course, is these retro figures. We had some stunning retro figures. The retro figures are designed to look like they would have come out in the late 70s, early 80s. And they're very similar to the classic Kenner action figures. But of course, we've got some newer ones here, so this is what they would have looked like potentially. It's just a fun way. In fact, I'm pretty much decided that I'm only collecting retro figures from now on. So the first wave of the Mandalorian figures included the Mandalorian, the Child, Queel, IG-11, Moff Gideon, Cara Dune, and Grief Karga. That was them. So this is wave 2, which I wasn't expecting to see. So you've got a newer version of the Mandalorian Din Djarin, but when he's got more Beskar. This is a different kind of a cape than the one before that was the plastic one. In the middle, you've got a Death Trooper. A lot of people said, hey, what about the Dark Troopers? I'm assuming the Dark Troopers will come out another time, hopefully. But there are Death Troopers at the finale of Season 1, so that's why they're there. We've got Bo-Katan on the top right. Bottom left, of course, is the return of Boba Fett, complete with MC Hammer pants. Pretty cool. That's how he looked when he first showed up in Season 2. Got Ahsoka Tano, live-action Ahsoka Tano figure with white lightsabers, and then it's got those classic ones like the After the Empire Strikes Back Luke figure and Return of the Jedi figures for the Kenner line, and the armor on the bottom right. Yeah, they were awesome. They went, last Wednesday was the official drop of those, so we had to jump on there and order those. Blake says, me driving a FedEx truck is as Star Wars as the world can handle. It's true, Blake. All of it. Minta says, sweet. These are very cool. I love these. Love them, love them. So they're pretty cool. All right. So then the next thing that they premiered, and again, some of these have been available to purchase since last Wednesday, so hopefully you're able to find some of them. I can let you know where to get these. These were found on Entertainment Earth as well as at Big Bad Toy Store. So that's them. Okay, I'm not going to show you everything that is out there, but we're definitely going to go through some stuff. So naturally, you've got your Funko Pops. These are very clearly Amazon exclusives. You got K2SO from Jeddah and Moroff from Jeddah as well. These look like Ross is all over those, I would assume. Ross, if you're out there, buddy. These are cool, right? I mean, I don't buy a ton of Funko Pops, but these are very, very sharp. I like how K2 has kind of like some battle markings on them. Minta's excited. Cool. So for some of you, these are new things, which is cool. We're going to try to put as many of these new things every Tuesday on our Instagram and Facebook pages, a little bit of them on Twitter. So you can certainly look for those on Coffee with Kenobi every Wednesday. So there's these two. Then we've got, I can hear Mason squealing from across the house undoubtedly. These are what are they called? Squishies, Mason? Type in the comments what these are officially called. I can't actually remember. I guess I could just click on the information I have. So these are, you can get these on, they're called Qtopia. They are available on Amazon.com. They are from Mattel. These are adorable character plush toys. You've got, of course, by the way, you've got R2, Boba Fett, Grogu, and Wicket. You can get them in small, medium, and large scale. So that's pretty neat. But they are all available from Mattel, but they're on Amazon.com. So Minta is fired up. Daniel says these are adorbs. They are adorbs. I agree. Remember, if you're listening to the audio feed of CWK Live, you can certainly... Mason loves them, as you can tell. I'll put his comments up there. I lost my train of thought. Well, if I think of it, remind me what I was saying. Andrew says, sharing the purchases links to all these weekly exclusives in CWK Cafe is just one of the perks of being in the group. Well, thank you, Andrew. Yes, we posted a lot of links as soon as we were allowed to, so that you could go to the CWK Cafe, our Facebook group, and find a place to purchase these things. So that was pretty cool. All right, so then what else is on there? We've got so much stuff. So much stuff. So I love this one. You can get Hunter with the helmet. And then this is just a picture of him without the helmet. But these are from, let me find the actual official page here. Here we go. These are ArtFX Kotobukiya collectibles. You can get them from, from Sideshow. From Sideshow, of course. Yeah, this is really sharp. Mason loves this one as well. Minta does too. Yeah, this is it's a really sharp one. I really like how it's, let's see what the retail price is not listed here. I'll have to check. I'll check for you. In fact, I'm clicking it right now. Let's see. Keep your fingers crossed. This is $160. And it looks like it's still available for pre-order, and it is going to ship May of 2022. So there you go. Really sharp looking. All right, so that's Hunters from Sideshow. Then these are two options from her universe, naturally. You've got a 50th anniversary Lucasfilm jacket. It's got a similar patch on the front, but it's smaller. And then on the right is a 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm hoodie. And on the back is the Yoda fountain. So those are very, very nice. I believe they're 20% off now on her universe, so be sure to check those out. But I believe if memory serves, Mary, you ordered one of these, didn't you? I think you commented that somewhere on Facebook. I thought I saw that. So people dig these as well. Now there's a lot of jewelry that's going to be coming out every week. Mita says the hoodie looks so comfy. It does look really nice. So this is a piece of jewelry from, here we go. It is called the Mandalorian Women's Pendant, black and white diamonds, sterling silver and black rhodium. This is from StarWarsFineJewelry.com. It is on sale for $249. So Mason likes that. Mason, is that something we should get for Mommy for Christmas? Oh, Mary did get it. We won't share. We won't tell the news, Mary, but that is a very cool present. So yeah, this thing is diamond, sterling silver, and black rhodium. Rhodium. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, so I apologize to all you jewelry fans out there. All right, now there's a couple of things here that don't really go together, but I just put them on here. On the right, this is a Star Wars Galactic Combat Rope. It is from SANABULsports.com. It says cross-training workouts are key for any competitive athlete. These are combat battle ropes. They're extremely effective for a high-intensity, full-body workout. They look like they're weighted to me, but they're pretty cool. A very, very high-quality item for sure. You can also get from them, you can also get a medicine ball from the same company as well. On the left, of course, you've got a shirt from the Star Wars Visions episode, The Twins, which of course will be the topic for next week. And there are a ton, of course, of t-shirts. And you can find these on shopdisney.com. These images are on shopdisney.com for those shirts. Shopdisney.com is your source for a lot of cool stuff as well. And we have an affiliate link for some of these things too. All right, here's some fun stuff. Mason says he needs it. Mita says, I need to make a wish list for Christmas. Yes, for sure. All right, so on the left, you've got Hannah Anderson's latest round of Star Wars Christmas pajamas. A couple of years ago, my family and I did some work with Hannah Anderson, and all of us had Star Wars Christmas pajamas. That was a really fun thing. Look what they've got now. These are very, of course, Mandalorian, Grogu heavy. And then on the right, those pajamas, I believe, are from The Gap. Yep, those are from The Gap Kids. So you've got some nice options. There's a ton more of Star Wars pajamas for sure. Blake says, happy to see Disney is embracing Visions with its merchandise. Yes, they are. I hope we see figures of those too. Mason loves these. Wow, Mommy, we're finding lots of ideas for Mason, aren't we? And last but not least, you have, of course, the latest trend in shoe wear, which still blows my mind, Crocs. Crocs has some adult and some child Star Wars options for you. You can see you've got Grogu, the Mandalorian, some really, what are those called? Gibbets? I don't know. What am I? I have no idea. So somebody tell me. Mason likes these too. So there's a lot of fun options for you. So if you're interested in that, remember every Tuesday is when you can see what the latest and greatest merchandising options are for you. We will certainly, as soon as we can, we will pop those on our Instagram, especially our Instagram account, because it's really better for pictures, and then on Twitter and Facebook as well. I look forward to your conversations in the CWK Cafe. We've mentioned the CWK Cafe several times tonight. Thank you, Andrew, so much for being the one of the people to do so. But if you're unfamiliar with the CWK Cafe, in fact, some of you may be watching live right now in the cafe, but it is our Facebook group. It is family friendly. It is spoiler free. It is a fun, safe place to talk Star Wars with people who love it and have a good time. And again, it's family friendly, spoiler free, a very positive, welcoming community, a great one. And you can find it at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/community. Okay, it is time to get into the main part of tonight. Tonight we have got your top 5 favorite moments from Star Wars Visions episode Tatooine Rhapsody. Tatooine Rhapsody is one I didn't think I would love as much as I do, but I definitely am a fan. And you may have heard, and LJ Souter posted this in the CWK Cafe today, you may have heard that the soundtracks for all of these episodes are available digitally now. So that is very, very cool. All right, let's do this top 5 from Tatooine Rhapsody. Overall, a really entertaining episode with a certain thing that I love so much we will get to. All right, number 5 for me is a dancing Ithorian. So an Ithorian, if you're not sure, is, if you remember seeing Hammerhead for the first time in the cantina, that's what an Ithorian looks like. Early on when they were playing music, like very early on in the episode, you can see one on the corner, the right-hand corner, dancing, kind of back and forth like that. And it's awesome. It's very, very entertaining and cute. And in fact, there's a lot of fun nods to the cantina in this episode. And I love that. So right away I wrote down Dancing Ithorian. That's my number 5. Number 5 for Mary is the chibi Boba Fett was adorable. Yes, dangerous and adorable. I agree with you. Number 5 for Nicholas. The art style reminded me of the many mangas I have. Yeah, the art style was really slick. All of these are so cool, but really, really well done. Number 5 for me, the style was unique. It kind of reminded me of My Hero Academia. Oh, I could see that. I could see that as well. And again, I'm not as familiar with some of these anime things and manga things, but seeing this helps you be very interested. Number 5 for Blake. The band playing in a half-empty club at the beginning. I'm a guy who's been to the largest festivals to the smallest punk shows with no one there, and that made me laugh. Yeah, it was kind of fun, wasn't it, to see that? And then to think about like what it must be like. Obviously, I'm not musically, I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm definitely not musically inclined. I'm great at listening to music, and I know what I like, but I couldn't tell you anything about how to play any instruments, but I've been to plenty of shows, and I can imagine what it must be like to start your own band, and that I feel like this really captured that. Number 5 for Jason is Tamira Morrison. Yeah, how cool that Tamira Morrison, boy, he is everywhere, right? The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. He's in this episode of Star Wars Visions. So that is cool that he was able to be the voice of that. Number 5 for Mason is the droid, the small droid that accompanies the band. Mason thinks is so funny. He loves him. He laughs at him. He thinks he's cute. But number 5 for him is that the droid is really, really funny. So there you go. That's number 5. If you are just joining us or coming in later, feel free to add your list, of course, in the comments or later in the CWK Cafe. Let's go ahead and jump into number 4. Number 4 for me, I put microphone. Not this microphone. I'm talking about the lightsaber turned into a microphone. Oh, let's get into Brian's. Brian says the skiff's rising and lowering at the end of the show. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? So the microphone, again, I love the idea that a lightsaber it was converted into a microphone. It's cool, it's fun, it's original, but it's also very symbolic of this. You can see at the beginning, the hero of this episode, he's running from conflict. He doesn't want to be a part of it. He's scared. He's over it, and his lightsaber breaks, and it ends up being kind of a sign that he's saying, "What are you? What are you?" And then he looks at that lightsaber, he turns it into a microphone. He's a singer. He's an entertainer. That's how he wants to find his path in the galaxy. I think that's pretty powerful, taking something that maybe in a way held you back and using it to your advantage. It's very powerful. So in addition to the powerful iconography of it and the symbolism of it, I just like how smart it is that they took a lightsaber and turned it into a microphone. How many times have we held a microphone or a lightsaber in our lives? And I never for once thought, oh, this could be a microphone. So there's just a cool little twist. Number 4 for Minta, the dancing Ithorian. Yes, that thing was awesome. Awesome. So much as obviously that was my number 5. Number 4 for Jason, movie references. Mos Espa, Obi-Wan's Home, the Creature Cantina, and Bith Band, and even a Wilhelm Scream. Yeah, there were a lot of them, weren't there? A lot of fun Easter eggs, which I know we're going to get to later. Nicholas's number 4, the return of canon Star Wars characters, seeing Jabba, Bib Fortuna, Boba Fett, in the new animated style was awesome. I wonder when the episodes started if Geezer was perhaps Rhoda the Hutt from the Clone Wars movie. Well, that's an interesting idea. No, I think it was a new one, but it was pretty cool. And at first I thought, oh, geez, we're going to use a hut like this. And I didn't think I would like it, but I loved it. I loved it. Number 4 for Mary is Jay saying, I have a bad feeling about this. That was pretty cool. I think they said in every episode. Well, no, they don't in the first one, do they? But it was pretty cool the way they used it here. Blake, as someone who played in a small local band over a decade ago, almost, the friendships between the whole band really struck home. Well, Blake, you've been sitting on that for a while. What did you play, man? We need some pictures. We need to hear some evidence of your rock band talents. Number 4 for Mason is the opening scene. I talked about it with the microphone, but it's a scene with Jay running as a Padawan with his braid, running from. There's clearly a lot of conflict going on and blasts, and he wants nothing to do with it. And it was just pretty cool, very exciting. And then all of a sudden the scene shifts, and we're talking about music. So, pretty cool. But Mason's number 4, again, is that whole intro sequence. A good choice. Blake was a backup guitar. My fingers were never good enough for lead. Hey, you need backup to set the atmosphere, man. How cool. All right, let's jump into number 3. Number 3 for me is when Jay pulls out his lightsaber, which doesn't seem to be working, and Boba Fett holds a blaster up and says, you really want to do this? And he actually puts his blaster down, which kind of shocked me because Boba Fett isn't one to really mess around. But when he says, you really want to do this, it was just so cool. Like Clint Eastwood, tough guy, Sergio Leone, Western, cool. So when he says, you really want to do this, I love that. That was my number 3. Number 3 for me, to the lightsaber microphone, very clever way of hiding the most elegant weapon in the galaxy. Yes, that's right. That's what I was thinking of too. Very clever way to hide it. That was neat. Number 3 for Jason, the music, punk rock, a little bit of metal, a big song at the end. Who doesn't love a bass guitar with a flamethrower, right? That was awesome. Number 3 for Nicholas, the mystery of Jay. It looks like Jay used to be a Padawan. His origins are fun to consider. I hope he gets a book like Ronin. Oh, that would be awesome. I hope we get the same author too. That would be great. Number 3 for Mary, the scenery when they first get to the pod racing arena, the art was fantastic. It really had kind of an anime, the Phantom Menace feel to it, didn't it? That was neat. Number 3 for Blake, Boba Fett, him and Jabba are the only appearance of canon characters in Visions, and they executed it with so much love. Yeah, love and pure sort of acknowledgement of the power of them. It was kind of a neat little tribute. Imagine getting the all clear as an animator to be able to use Boba Fett in a story. Brian's number 3, Boba's entrance, right? That was so awesome. I love that as well. I love that as well. That was cool. Number 3 for Mason is Boba Fett. Boba Fett, period. Him showing up, he being there, everything he did, how he looked, how he sounds. Mason's number 3 was Boba Fett all the way. Speaking of all the way, and I'm sure you've already done this, but if you haven't done so, share the live show right now. Tag a Star Wars friend. Tag someone who likes to have some fun Star Wars conversation with all of us, and invite them to this CWK Top 5. Love to have as many people as possible to spread the word about our amazing community here at Coffee with Kenobi. All right, so I gave Mason's number 3, which was Boba Fett. Let's go ahead and jump into number 2. Number 2, I wrote the quote, we're just a band. Now, you hear that quote a lot. But what specifically am I talking about here? Well, there's a sequence when Jay realizes his friend is gone. He's worried about his fate with Jabba. And he runs out of their ship and he's kind of yelling. Not kind of, he is full out yelling. He's upset. And then all of a sudden he has his flashback and he turns around and he says, yeah, we're just a band. But as he says it, the sky goes from dark to light. And it opens up. And there's a few clouds with the sun is out. It's very much a mirror of his internal feelings of, yes, we are just a band. I'm going to save my friend. We're going to get our band back together. A Blues Brothers quote. So that I love the symbolism of it. There's a lot of symbolism in this thing. So if you get a chance to look at it again, check that out because there's some cool stuff there. Number 2 for me, To the Cantina Band. I loved how they were crowded around the HoloNet watching Jay and his band playing, knowing that they had competition. Wasn't that cool? Seeing them in the same booth, it looked like where Han and Greedo were, and having them listen to the band. I thought that was a nice touch as well. Let's see. Jason's number 2, Boba Fett, very well handled, and I love seeing him crowd surf. Oh man, was that crazy or what? And him dancing too, and Jabba tapping his tail. Number 2 for Blake, seeing inside the Mos Eisley Cantina and even Old Ben's hut. Tatooine and New Hope is the most magical piece of cinema to me, and they showed so much love for it. I know, and just think, Blake, we're going to see hopefully a lot of it in the Kenobi Disney Plus series soon. Wasn't that going to be insane? Wow, can you imagine the top 5s for that series? Anyway, back to this. Nicholas, number 2, the instruments, the music was great. I also liked how much of the instruments doubled as weapons, and the microphone was a symbolic lightsaber. Yes, it was. Definitely was. I liked that so much as well. Number 2 for Mary, the lightsaber thread through the episode from a working saber as a Padawan, not working when he thinks about using it again, to a microphone as the lead singer of the band. Again, yes, Mary, absolutely. There's so much power in this. So much symbolism in this. I was very, very happy with it. Mason's number 2 is the end song, the end actual song that saves the fate of the band and gets them another song. And potentially Jabba's going to be their first sponsor, which I still think is kind of a stretch. I can't imagine Jabba would go for that. But would you trust a Hutt, especially Jabba the Hutt, to borrow money from? Anyway, it's supposed to be fun. It's very fun. And Mason loved it so much that he put the end song as his number 2. But for me, the number 1 thing for me, and again, we're doing top 5 favorite moments from Tatooine Rhapsody. Number 1 for me is, similar to Mason's number 2, Rock On, the actual final song. I should have looked up the title. I did not. I apologize for that. So if you know it, let me know. But to me, that song, from the moment I watched it, I was blown away. Blown away by that music. So I'm going to find it on Spotify. Mason and I will be listening to it, jamming out. It is epically cool. Joseph Gordon-Levitt singing it for the English dub is awesome. And the original Japanese one is super cool as well. So be sure to check it out. Okay, we've got some number 1s rolling in. Let's take a look at them. Minta's number 1. The music was amazing, and the show was amplified when Tamira Morrison voiced Boba Fett. Yeah, it was a great audio episode, isn't it? Then 1 for Blake. The main song performance, similar to mine. I haven't listened to the Japanese audio yet, but I love the retro punk vibe the whole thing had. If you know music and what they were aiming for, they executed it perfectly, and it was incredibly catchy. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Blake. I loved talking to the creators of this about that song, and they seemed very delighted by it as well. They talked about the fact that the proposal, they're like, well, gosh, I don't know. But boy, I'm glad they greenlighted it. I know they are too, because it really worked to perfection. And it really showed like kind of transitional moments in this episode, and hearing like the strumming of guitar reminded me so much of cut scenes from Rock Band, the old video game. So much so. I don't know if you caught that as well. Mary's number 1, all the scenes around Tatooine when they were playing their song, just like so many I've already mentioned. Definitely, for sure. Nicholas is number 1. The characters. I love the designs and personalities of these characters. The droid V5 is especially great, having features of a treadwell and a mouse droid. Oh, good point. Number 1 for Jason is Jay's lightsaber turned microphone that glows blue when activated. I love that he still has the heart of a Jedi, even though he doesn't walk that path anymore. That's a good discrepancy. And I like how the lightsaber didn't work when he tried to use it as a weapon, his old path, but worked beautifully once he fully embraced his new one. Well, that is very smart, Jason. I like that. I didn't think about that. But yes, it only worked when he's blazing the path that he wanted for himself. Number 1 for Mason. This is a really cool, and I think you're going to be impressed with this. There's a sequence when they first escape, and Boba Fett activates his jetpack, and he flies up in the air, and he's kind of hovering in midair, and they show a close-up of it. And above I believe it's his left shoulder, there is, like the way his cape is and the way that the emblem is on his chest, it looks like an Easter egg of Grogu. So if you see him jetpack up and hover at the surface as he's watching Jay and the crew fly away at the beginning of the episode, pause when they show a close-up of Boba Fett and look at his left shoulder. Mason caught this. It looks like there's a hidden Grogu Easter egg on Boba Fett's armor. Whether it is or not, I don't know for sure officially, but it definitely looks like it when you watch it, so be sure to check it out. Brian's number 1, Giza reaching out his hand and accepting Jay with no reservations when he fell into the ship and including him in the band. That was super cool. I like that too, Brian. Good catch, buddy. Jason says, nice catch, Mason. Yeah, he just caught that right away, like last week about Blake, and Mason caught that A New Hope image on the wall of the duel. All right, well, that's it for Top 5 moments from Tatooine Rhapsody, an incredibly entertaining episode. That song is in my head right now. I'm sure it is in yours as well. Next week's Top 5, of course, is Top 5 moments from Star Wars Visions, The Twins. The Twins. This is I think it's a longer one, if memory serves. Neil Patrick Harris is one of the voices in it for the American dub. But we'll be looking at that next week. Top 5 moments from The Twins. I hope all of you are enjoying rewatching Visions as much as Mason and I are. There's a lot of fun stuff with that as well. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so today, or not today, right now is when you can ask me anything while you're thinking of questions. Next week, besides looking at top 5 moments from the Twins, this book we just got today, Showdown at the Fair, Star Wars: The High Republic. It is a kid's book. Mason is going to review it live for you on CWK Live next week. That is Showdown at the Fair by George Mann. And Mason is going to be reviewing it for all of you live on CWK. So I'm very excited about that. So Jason says, "Damn, what happened to the beard, man?" Good question. Well, a couple of days ago on Saturday, I shaved it, Jason. I shaved it, my friend, because I went to the Kiss concert. It's my 8th time seeing Kiss. Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, the gang was there. And on a whim, my brother said, "Hey, let's paint our faces." And I thought, why not? So here's a picture from my phone. There's me as Paul Stanley on the right-hand side, and then my brother is dressed up as Gene Simmons. So there's us, the end of the makeup. It looks super cool. So that is why I shaved my beard, because I didn't want to put that makeup on. And there you go. It was very fun, very entertaining. Certainly something I'd never done before, but it was totally a good time. Mason says, "That's right. Mason's excited to review Showdown at the Fair. I'm excited to hear his review as well." Blake says, "We know we'll be getting some sort of video game announcement alongside all these new things being revealed weekly till the end of the year. What would you like that reveal to be?" Well, I like to get the news that the Star Wars Lego Skywalker Complete Saga is coming out faster, but that's probably not going to happen. So I would love to see an announcement of Battlefront 3 for the PS4 and PS5 and Nintendo Switch. I think that'd be awesome. What about you? Who's my favorite High Republic Jedi so far? Brian, I like Stellan Gios. I like Elzar Mann more than I expected that I would. But I think, interesting. Vernestra Rowe, though. I think Vernestra Rowe is my very favorite. What about you? Nicholas, what is your favorite behind-the-scenes fact or trivia? Mine is that the doctor that helped save George Lucas's life after his car accident had the last name of Treadwell, like a certain droid. I did not know that, Nicholas. That's cool. Favorite behind-the-scenes fact or trivia? Gosh, I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff about behind the scenes that I really like. I like how they hid the reveal of Darth Vader a lot. I like the determination of George to make things happen, but that's not really trivia based. So I don't know. I'm actually kind of stumped by that one because there's some cool stuff about a lot. Well, actually, I do kind of like that Luke Skywalker and the original one were denim, but it was a different color denim, and we don't really think of Luke Skywalker as wearing jeans, but in the first movie he actually was. So I think that might be a pretty entertaining one. Jason says that's a good reason to shave the beard. Well, thanks, man. And it's gonna come back pretty soon. It was also pretty hot 2 weeks ago where I live, and having a beard when it's warm out is no good. So when it's cold, good stuff. Mason is very excited about next week, and Blake says he needs Lego Star Wars in his life. Yes, we all do. Did you hear if any Star Wars items were affected by the release changes of all the Marvel and indie movies? I did not, but I do want to say how sad it is for me that they delayed Indiana Jones another year. Another year. I mean, they've been filming it for a while now. It's been great to see Harrison Ford back in that amazing costume and the fedora and the leather jacket. But yeah, it's been pushed back another year. The Marvel movies have been pushed back a couple of months, but Indy an actual entire year. And I'm not sure why. They haven't officially given the reasons why. But you know what? I mean, what can I say? I mean, I've been dying to see another Indiana Jones for a very long time. So I guess we're going to have to wait another year. But I'm going to be ready. So summer 2000. It was going to be summer 2022. Now it's going to be the summer 2023. Speaking of the summer 2023, if you haven't heard the news, don't forget in the summer of 2023, you can join me on the Galactic Star Cruiser in Walt Disney World with Coffee with Kenobi and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. We don't have an exact date yet because it's too far out and Disney has not released that information, but when they do, we'll be sure to let you know. So hopefully you're able to save up and join us for 2 years from now, summer 2023. It's going to be quite a voyage, and I want to go on that with as many of you as I possibly can. So that's going to be a ton of fun. And if you heard Coffee with Kenobi this week, you heard Becky and I talking all about the Halcyon and a lot of stuff happening at Walt Disney World for the 50th anniversary. Brian said he was drawn in by the name alone of Loden Greatstorm. I mean, is there a better name than Loden Greatstorm? It sounds like a Dungeons & Dragons name. It is fantastic. So I love that. I like that one as well, too. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me for CWK Live every Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We will again be talking about top 5 moments from the next Star Wars Visions episode, The Twins. 2 dark side warriors, a male and a female, brother and sister. And some interesting twists happen in that episode. If you haven't seen it already, be sure to do it. And we'll go over your top 5s next week on CWK Live. Thank you, Minta. May the Force be with you. Thanks to all of you for joining me every Monday night. Be sure to spread the word next week so we can have even more people join us. It's going to be a blast, of course, because I get to be with all of you. Jason, so fun to be here with you. Have a great week. Mary, have a great week as well. Nicholas says, thank you. Can't wait for your book. Well, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate it, man. November 23rd. Can't get here soon enough. It's going to be fun to look at that. Brian says, great way to start the week. Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us every week. Blake, good night, man. He says, you all make this the best Star Wars community any fan could ask for. Well, you're too kind, Blake, and it's great because of people like all of you here joining us, both here and on the replay on YouTube, Coffee with Kenobi's YouTube page, on our Instagram page, and of course, in the audio version of the podcast feed as well. Daniel, thank you so much. Enjoy your week. Good night to you, Andrew. And by the way, check out in the CWK Cafe, Andrew is building an incredible Star Wars Lego that you're not going to want to miss. Mason, good night, buddy. I will see you very soon. I'll see all of you next week, and be sure to join us on Thursday for a really, really cool Coffee with Kenobi. We're going to look at Star Wars and I don't usually give out the topics, but it's going to be a cool one. It's going to make you think about A New Hope and hopefully ways you never have before. Have a great week and weekend, everybody. And remember, this is the live podcast you're looking for. See you next time.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.